Good evening. This is K.A. Simpson. And when he submitted his application to the Fringe, we were just so totally blown away by his writing, everything he's published, all the awards he's won. We were like going, wow, we need him at the Fringe. Thank you so much for coming. And I'm going to just have him take it away and talk to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Enjoy.
Have you ever felt like you're standing in two worlds at once? One that raised you and one that's still trying to figure out what to do with you? Have you? A little bit? Well, that's where I live. Somewhere in between north and south, between Sunday morning amens and Saturday night sins, between what they told me I should be and what I keep becoming every time I choose to tell the truth. You see, I grew up in a place where silence was survival, where black boys like me learned early to hide brilliance behind bravado, how to shrink dreams small enough to fit inside the box somebody else built for me. But somewhere along the way, I learned that art is a rebellion dressed in rhythm. The words are weapons, and every syllable I spit is a love letter to the boy I used to be, to the one still waiting to be seen, to be heard, to be understood. Tonight, I'm not only here to perform, I'm here to help all of us remember, to remind ourselves that creation is healing work, that our heart still beats, even when the world tries to write your eulogy early. So before I get into my set, I'm going to put a pulse. So as you listen tonight, I want you to think about a couple of things. This stage, this moment tonight is where past and the possible shake hands. I am K.A. Simpson, author, dreamer, witness, survivor, and somewhere in between all that, I'm a believer. So let's begin. So tonight is not going to be just about spoken words. Oh, before we go on, if you want to tag me on Instagram, it's KA_Simpson. Feel free to tag only good things, because I'll delete the bad things. No, I'll keep them up there. But I don't know how many people are artists here, but sometimes you get the feeling, right? So there we go. You get the feeling, something kind of takes over you. And the first piece I'm going to do, I was not going to do tonight. But as it was mentioned earlier, I'm not from Chattanooga, I'm from Covington, Kentucky. And if you don't know where that is, just think of Cincinnati and think right south of Cincinnati. So I'm right across the river from Cincinnati, Ohio. And so the drive from Covington, Kentucky, the whole 6 hours, I forgot how beautiful not only Kentucky is, but Tennessee is. The bluegrass of Kentucky, the rolling hills of Tennessee, it helped me remember a sense of place, right? And so, and again, I am from Cincinnati, so kind of coming into Chattanooga, I've never been here before, and I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what type of neighborhood I was coming into. I just didn't know, and that's the story of my life. I just go. So I was very surprised and welcomed when I got off on Moore Street. It dropped me off on Brainerd. Yeah. Okay, dropped me off on Brainerd, and I saw two big wig shops, a plasma center, a workforce development area, and I was like, I'm home. I'm good. I know how to act. And I was like, there's going to be a pawn shop around the corner, and there was a pawn shop. I was like, I'm good. I know exactly where I'm at. I'm good. So that was strike number 2 for getting me to read this poem, this piece. Strike number 3, I shouldn't call it a strike. I should really call it an opportunity, is when I found out that I'd be performing in the Elks Lodge. next door. So the Elks Lodge, actually it's the Black Elks. It's an international, I don't know how much you guys know about this organization. It's an international Black organization. So not only do they have hundreds of chapters around the country, but they have chapters outside of the United States. And I'm getting to a point. There's a point to this. So it was actually started by two individuals, two Black men, one a Pullman porter, the other was a lawyer. The Pullman porter lived in Cincinnati, Ohio. The attorney, the lawyer, lived in Covington, Kentucky, where I'm from. So I walked into this space. I knew it was an Elks Lodge. I didn't know what type of Elks Lodge. I walked in, it's like, this is Black folk. I could smell Black folk in this building. And again, I was home. So I actually lived 2 blocks away from the B.F. Howard Park, one of the founders of the Black Elks. So that was 3. And then after that, it's like, okay, I've got to read this poem. And this piece is called I Am Northern Kentucky. I am Northern Kentucky. I am Covington's cracked sidewalks and Newport's neon reflections. I am the hush of the Licking River where it meets the mighty Ohio, that both rustle of a history that never really left. I am the suspension press sewn on the front porches that tell stories louder than any headline. I am the alleyways that remember who you used to be. I am the historic Lincoln Grant School where Ghost Hall swells and the gospel of 9th Street Baptist Church spins its spell. I am the Southgate Street School with steps worn by Sunday dress shoes. I am the Friday night lights of Holmes High School and Newport High Schools where whole neighborhoods show up just to yell your name because it means something, because here it do. I am the steepled roof of our Savior Church and the stillness of Randolph Park at dusk. I am the soul food of Mama Lil's spot on the east side. I am the black and brown brilliance that walk up and down Greenup Street like royalty, even when the city forgets to see our crown speak. I am Newport on the levee before the skyline rose up to block our views, back when hustle meant running numbers on the railroaded street of Saratoga or throwing craps outside my granny's back door. You know back when summer nights sounded like bike chains and fireworks and somebody's cousin rapping off beat under a busted streetlight. I am the cut in the hill and the way the city opens up when you finally make it out, but feel drawn back in by the smell of fried fish on Friday or the sight of a beat-up Capri Classic slow rolling through Latonia Terrace's hills. I am the murals of the flood wall that don't just decorate but declare we were always here, still are, still thriving in barbershops and backyards and block parties that turn into cookouts that turn into kin. I am my Aunt Norma's card game at the kitchen table and the black state representative who lived down the street. I'm the poet, I'm the pastor. I'm that Catholic school kid that went public but who knew the rules, broke a few, but still came back to build better. I am not across the river from anything. I am the river that cuts through the city like an irrigated soul, its flow, its fight, its freedom. I am the rolling bridge you cross to remember who you are. I am the song on Russell Street, the dance on Robin Street. I'm the promise whispered on West 15th Street that your name still matters. I'm the corner store with the sticky floors and the cleanest spades in town. I'm where everybody knows your granny and checks on her even when you forget to come around. I am Northern Kentucky. Newport birthed me, Covington raised me, Cincinnati shaped me. Together, they remind me that roots run higher than our ravishing rolling seven hills. Dig deeper than the unreleasing rivers that run relinquishing through these receptacles we call souls, even when they're cracked by conceit and clipped by contempt. I'm still here, still loud, still soft, still proud, still whole, still home. I am Northern Kentucky. Thank you. So that I'm pretty new to spoken word, even though I've been a writer since 1997. I've been a writer, but I'm new to spoken word. And a woman that got me into spoken word is Nikki Giovanni. Are you guys familiar with Nikki Giovanni? So she is from the Cincinnati area. Through my work with at the Taft Museum of Art in Cincinnati, I got to speak to Nikki Giovanni a couple of times before she passed away late last year. And so I was honored to be able to perform one of her pieces that she wrote at a memorial for her, and it was called "I Am Cincinnati." And if you guys don't know me, but I was like, well, if she can write something about I Am Cincinnati, I can do something about I Am Northern Kentucky. So that's what started it, but it opened up the floodgates, because there's a couple of artists here. When you feel it, right? So it opened up the floodgates for a lot of additional pieces of work. I actually started my writing as a way to process trauma. Now I know it's the way to process trauma. I started writing when I went into the Army in 1997. I went into the Army in actually 96, in late 1996, and there is this great song called 4-Page Letter by Aaliyah. Mama always told me to be careful who I love, and Daddy always told me make sure he's right. I always had my eyes on this one particular guy. I was too shy, so I decided to write. So I love that song, fell in love with it, took it with me to the Army. I was before I went to the Army, I was this gay kid in Covington, Kentucky, trying to figure out what this kind of sexuality thing was going on. And you know what I did? I said, you know what will straighten me up? Going into the Army. That did not work. I fell in love with my first roommate in the Army. And this is 1996, 97. This is during Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So I was not able to come out in the military while I was in. And I started to write to process this trauma. So there is actually a 4-page letter that I wrote. I am not reading it to you, nor will I read it to anybody. That's my 4-page letter. Even he does not know about the 4-page letter. But I did write a piece to talk about the day that I was going to actually tell him I was in love with him in the military and risk getting kicked out of the military. So this is called 4-Page Letter. Princess Diana died today, and so did my nerve. Downtown Monterey, you and me, 2 camel-laden ghosts in a coffee cafe that smelled like burnt dreams and bitter beans. I don't even like coffee, but I drank it anyway, because you were on the other side of the steam. Mine always had cream. Chocolate iced down, sweet like a secret, like the one I was trying to tell you. You remember that day. You were laughing about something, probably about how that girl behind the counter kept calling you sir, like she knew you, like she wanted you, like I wanted you. I mean, like I wanted to tell her to back off, but I didn't. I couldn't. Not in this world. The world where I have to salute my silence and march double time from behind because of a rule called, well, if you don't ask, I won't tell you. What a fucking cruel poem of a policy. Don't ask me who I love, don't tell me I can't. I was going to say it tonight, right then, after your coffee cooled and my hands stopped sweating, after the sky folded its arms into dusk and the world made room for us. But then she died. Princess Di, and the whole place stilled like a prayer, and I felt the weight of her goneness pressed against the secret I carried, and I folded again. back into myself, back into this damn uniform, back into the rear of the formation where I always watched you. Shining, God, you shined. Your laugh was like the brass section in a silent room. You stood at attention and I stood at a distance, not just by rank, but by fear. You remember the first time on the bus from San Francisco, you sat next to me, uninvited but divinely placed, and I swear the earth tilted just a little to make that space happen. You smelled like starch and soap and something so goddamn new, and I, a boy from Kentucky with my story stitched on my skin, stared, pretending to be interested in how the seat just soothed with you, with all of you. I don't think you even know you stole my heart that night. The first ride together, not in a cool, slick way of a pickpocket, but in the innocent way a child plucks a flower because it's just there, because it's beautiful. You don't know that you're a thief, don't know what you've taken, don't know what it cost. You don't know. I ask myself, am I really gay? I don't have the answer, not now, but I know I love you. In the way boys like me aren't allowed to, in the way no regulation manual could decode. Tonight was the night I was going to tell you, but the world's princess passed away tonight, and grief floated in like fog. I just couldn't stack another sorrow on top of the world, so I sit here holding my tongue like a grenade pin, wondering if silence is safer than freedom, wondering if maybe in another world, one without rules written by men who never knew what it meant to be broken, I could have reached across the table and whispered, it's you. It's always been you. But I didn't, and you will never know. And I came back to my barracks tonight humming an Elton John tune and folding my feelings, and this is the letter I will never send. From a boy I am to the boy I love. And this time, I ain't allowed to be anything but a shadow in formation. Thank you. So I mentioned I'm a little new to spoken word pieces, but I have about 5 spoken word pieces that I have collected and written in the book. You should have been there. Things that sounded funnier in my head. So it's a pseudo memoir because what it is, it's about, I've been journaling for about 25 years. So I took the 5 spoken word pieces and there's themes to each piece. So I put in, I preface each spoken word piece with several themes that things that happened in my life. So if you're interested, I have a couple more copies for sale, but it's called You Should Have Been There. Things that sounded funnier in my head. Now this next piece is, let me tell you. So I work at the Taft Museum of Art in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I run the Duncanson program, which is a Black art outreach program where I get to work with Black artists not only in Cincinnati area, but also throughout the country. So Duncanson, it's named after Robert S. Duncanson, who is the United States' first internationally acclaimed Black artist. I'm going to say that again. Robert S. Duncanson, first internationally acclaimed Black artist in the United States. He painted murals on the walls. So in 1850. So in the museum, it used to be a house. In the museum, we have huge murals, 6 feet by 4 feet, 8 of them, in the foyer of our home, and he painted that in 1850. And so the Taft Museum of Art has commemorated the legacy of Robert S. Duncanson by letting me continue to build capacity for Black artists. So over the last couple of years, I've been doing this work, but I'm getting into to think, I am starting to wonder what makes art Black, right? Is it the people that make it? Because they could be painting something that has nothing to do with Black society or the African American diaspora, the African diaspora, or is it because of the actual work. So I wrote this again, trying to process that question. So this is called More Than a Color-Filled Moniker. In America, two types of black art exist. The kind that drips with the echoes of chains, and the kind that hums a mother's lullaby over wayward pains, the kind that bends jazz into rebellion and gospel into testimony, where pain pirouettes through hip-hop laced lyricism, a craft unspoken, etched in time, a living ceremony. And then there's the kind of black art that just, is. Abstract strokes that don't speak in spiritual, sculptures that don't bend into the shape of struggle, art where our skin color isn't a subplot and our existence isn't a footnote in the fine prints of tolerance. But even when art doesn't trace its lineage to plantations, even when it doesn't whisper back to West African shores, it's still called black. Because, well, black hands is where it was forged. And that's enough for them to devalue it, to call it niche while stilling its aesthetic, to ignore its worth while selling it for triple when it's posthumous, to let it hang on their walls but never letting it breathe in their halls of power. You see, art is only universal when whiteness is its default, but when blackness is its brushstroke, suddenly it's other. Now, don't choke on this truth like it's too seasoned for your palate, like black culture is too rich for your taste, as if you're only used to the bland. American black artistry has shaped the very bones of this country, from the way our music moves, to the way our bodies balance, to the way our voices vacillate, when finally heard. Making history solid and memory sound, now in a time, again, when our worth is being woefully waned, beside the fact that our beauty is being boldly belated outwardly, our own ownership of our own genius is overly ostracized. And all because of a color-filled moniker, blackness. The blueprint, the genius, the original canvas on which American culture was painted. So let them separate, let them try to separate the art from the artist. Let them try to unscribe our names from the masterpieces we create, but know this, even when they erase us, our influence, manifested in that invaluable ink, remains on the page of the American construct, solid, whole, and here. Thank you. I mentioned for my last piece tonight, I mentioned that writing was a way to work through trauma, and living as a person of color throughout the South. I still consider myself living in the South. There's a lot of things that I'd had to deal with that I didn't know was traumatic, that looking back, it was traumatic. And so processing that in different ways and writing that in different ways, I wrote this piece called Rhapsody in Color. And it's a 4-part piece. I'm going to read 2 pieces of it. There's a red part, a white part, a blue part, and a black part of this Rhapsody in Color. And I'm going to let this one speak for itself. They told me the world ain't got no doors for me, that they were only brick walls thick with history, painted with warnings and stitched up with the word no, signs and languages meant to shame and woe. They told me, you ain't supposed to enter, you ain't supposed to ask, you damn sure ain't supposed to build, but here I stand with my black ass. Palms raw from pounding, fingernails chipped from clawing, hope a feral thing growing in my gut because the world swears itself shut. But I now know every wall is just a door, yet to be opened. You just need to push hard enough. I am black, melanin draped with legacy, each breath a rebellion, each step a prophecy. History don't whisper when it lives in your skin, it shouts through the silent, it howls from within. I am that hymn of the unbroken, that pulse of the streets, that rhythm they fear but can't help the groove when they hear it beat. Don't box me in textbooks or chain me in shame. My name ain't just survival, it's a name wrought with flame. I am gay, truth untucked in the world too tight, rainbow-tongued even when they try to dim my light. Love in my chest like a riot unbound, sealed in softness, the power, I wear it all like a crown. No longer hiding in the pause of a prayer, I now dance where I once only dared to stare. I am not your contradiction, I rebuke your negation, I am complete, I am unfolded history, I am a living defiance. I am the dope hip-hop rhythm and rhyme laced with R&B tendencies in a place built to silence. Who? Me? I no longer wait to be invited. I kick, I sing, I split the silence wide open while I disrupt the raison d'etre. Oh, my fault, I meant to say reason to be. You see, I was raised on chitlins and fried chicken grease Sunday mornings, raised on Motown Saturdays, barbershop prophecies, groomed by women who made miracles out of the rent money. I also was raised in a time stifled with boys who traded glances like baseball cards behind locker room doors. I carry them all in me, all of them. I am the son of their sweat, the voice of their hidden song. I am the knock that won't be silenced. Thank you. So, as you guys are leaving tonight, I kind of want to circle back to what I started to ask for in the beginning, that tonight possibility exists in your art, in the way you carry yourself. Don't let yourself be silenced. You hear that? That silence? That's the sound on what remains after the echo fades. It's the sound of breath, steady. After the storm of words, it's the proof that we're all still here. I came on the stage carrying stories I once tried to bury, carrying the weight of memory, the ache of becoming, and the hope that somebody out there might hear their own heartbeat somewhere inside mine and my words. Because, that's what art really is. It's communion, it's testimony, it's saying, I see you, to every soul who's ever been told to dim their own light, just to make someone else more comfortable. I've been there way too many times. We are not here to dim. We are not dim things. We are not half-lived lives. We are galaxies trying to remember our own shine. So when you walk out of here tonight, I hope you take something with you. Not just my words, but your own reflections inside them. Because every piece that I've written is really just a mirror, asking you to look deeper. I want to thank you tonight. I am K.A. Simpson, and this right here is me choosing to speak life into those quiet spaces. Thank you for listening, thank you for feeling, and thank you for reminding me that the world still makes room for truth told out loud. Thank you and have a great night.
Thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate it. Thank you.